Good morning. Let's take a look at yesterday. A very interesting set of second leg fixtures throughout Europe. The first match of interest, Paphos and Salzburg. And we called it right. A 2-0 lead for Paphos needed sorting out from Red Bull Salzburg. That 2-0 lead for Paphos made it 2-1 on aggregate. So Salzburg still involved, but have to respond. That's your entry point. They have to respond. Don't forget, we're playing aggregates. So regardless of whether Paphos actually go through, it's an excellent entry point because the odds are low. The motivation is absolutely skyrocketed for Salzburg. So a lay at 1.24 and a back at 14.5. Now I wish I'd stayed in because we got a 2-3 Red Bull Salzburg. 2-3 scoreline. So that 106 would have been activated. And look at the liability. What an excellent return. I decided to get out at the £50 profit. Why? Because at 2-2, Paphos then need to score the next goal. Because Salzburg have that 1-goal handicap head start from the first leg. So at 2-2, it's 2-3 on aggregate to Red Bull Salzburg. But they scored again. Three figures down the old drain pipe. But I think I made the right decision getting out there. I'll take that. Quite happy with that. But of course, that 2-3, that 100 and whatever it was, 106 would have been activated and you'd have got a far bigger return than 48. But you'd have had to get out at the 2-3. Paphos did get that goal that they required, but it was all academic. Any score draw with a 1-goal handicap head start from the first leg, it's playing into Red Bull's hand. So a very, very good match to trade. Excellent entry points. Now this is what you're going to see throughout this season. There'll be a lot of 2-0s to the underdogs. Yes, the favourite might be having an off day. Yes, the favourite might suddenly perform. But really, there's no excuse not to get involved at these odds. The liability is minimal. The upturn, huge. Well, I did warn you about KUPS. But I did also remind you that these odds are even shorter at the off. 1.6 earlier on, 1.53 all the way down to 1.37 at 1x bet. So somebody fancied University Craiova. Indeed, at 1-1, they were still odds-on favourite. I think it was a good entry point. Again, you're looking at aggregate score lines here. So take into account that KUPS lead at 1-1. Take into account also both teams scored in the opener. Take into account the odds have suddenly shifted all the way in Union Craiova's favour, and that's your entry point there. Very, very early in the match, you're actually getting over evens about a 1.32 shot. Their in-play stats were good, not suggesting KUPS were overrunning them by any stretch of the imagination. So again, we've got motivation. You've got to respond. You've got to. Like Red Bull Salzburg, that makes it a good trade. Huge motivation for an odds-on favourite at home to respond. Boom, boom. Yes, it was a penalty, but I'll take that all day long. I stayed in for the win. We play the +1s because Craiova were really fancied 1.4 in the +1 market. You're getting very little return. Now, this would have been a good return at half-time, by the way, for match odds, because the inference is they've got a whole half to get the winner. Don't forget, as traders, you don't need the final result to make a profit. You're trading the odds move, which is a simple one, from there to there. But as things happened, the mighty Mora making it 2-1, and then you definitely get out. Because the owners will turn then to KUPS, who have to respond. So another reasonable green screen there. This was at the 2-1. My hands were tied really in this match, as I say, because University of Craiova +1 was so skinny. It was ridiculous. I did lay over 1.5 goals to cover that 0-1 for KUPS because that would have been a winning scoreline. And they are in unbeaten form domestically. Great return, and the in-play stats did add an element of confidence to favouring University Craiova there. Rangers and Jagiellonia. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear, dear. I thought that was far too skinny. I did say in the video yesterday, you're having a giraffe at those odds. And so it proved. Both teams to score yet again in the 4th consecutive match this season for Rangers without winning. Yes, that draw, I suspect, layable late on because Rangers have to score. So we'll 1.09, 1.06 lay of the draw late on. Would have captured any late possible winner for Rangers, which would have taken this into extra time. And this is a typical performance of a team who don't need to win and have got, what was it, a 4-5 goal head start, Benfica. Very dangerous to be playing the win at those odds. You're playing the aggregate. And this was a bit of a tumble for Shamrock Rovers, wasn't it? But a gentle reminder to you, these kind of odds suggest any old scoreline. Look at this. Any old scoreline. 3-3 here. 2.45. Great performance from Salzburg yesterday. But you're playing the aggregates there. We're ignoring the pre-match odds. 2-0. A great entry point because you must score the next goal. Not really too much doing for me here. You can get your handkerchiefs out now. A couple of these I did call, and I can't speak because of the time difference. I don't want to wake the neighbours up when you're talking after midnight local time, 1 a.m. local time, 2 a.m. local time. It's not fair on my neighbours to be verbalising the messages. So this Ilves Rijeka, it was a play all day long. That's why I mentioned it here. Somewhere. Rijeka. There, rather like Rijeka. Well, why did I write that? Because I've already written down here before broadcasting. Rijeka's response is excellent to going a goal down to Ilves. And if you're looking on aggregates again, 0-1 to Rijeka. At 1-0 to Ilves, it's 1-1 on aggregate. Rijeka can get this done and dusted with a goal. And that proved to be the play. And I've written it all out for you, passed it all on to you, and then we get the suspend. So once we get to the Saturday live streams, they'll be at a time a little bit earlier, and I'll be able to verbalise messages because getting them verbal, you get them far quicker. So that was one which was a play, but I just couldn't get it to you in time. And I hope you spotted it yourself, particularly in play stats. Momentum, very, very important. RFS, this was an interesting match. Something like 13, 14, 15 shots off target. But if you look at the aggregates, it's a match which is finished. It's a 0-2 lead. Make that a 0-4 lead. And at 1-2, despite what they're showing, realistically, it's a mountain to climb. So I didn't play. The longer you wait, the less of a chance they have to get the aggregate scoreline back. So I shelved that one, thankfully. Braga didn't need to win. Interesting. Didn't score. And Twente, this is another example of a side with such a compelling first leg lead that they can fanny about. 3-3, who cares? We've got a 5-goal head start, lads. So we'll have a bit of a kickabout. Hammarby and Rakow, well, Hammarby hammered themselves with that red card. Midtjylland was superb again, 2-goal head start. So, yes, they can let Bose lead. Elsewhere, not much else doing. in these lower tiers. Vaduz and Inter Turku. I gave that a shout at 1-1. Vaduz had to score the next goal. They're here somewhere, Vaduz, on the Telegram. There we go. Shortest odds for the draw, and indeed they scored to make it 2-1. Again, as a trader, you don't need the final score. We got the odds move at 2-1, and that's your out. So do remember that. As a trader, you're not waiting for the final score. Motherwell, superb result for them against the Finns at 1-1. And Ajax and Shelbourne, again, you've got an emphatic first leg lead, Ajax. You can see the winning mentality is gone because they've already got a 4-goal head start. So it was a really good night last night. Could have been a few more trades, but had to tread very warily. I also gave you Lugano yesterday as well, which I forgot about, and I should have told you to top up at 2-0 to Runovic, because yet again playing the aggregates. Let's try Lugano. Playing the aggregates. So let's have a look at this. 1.42 away favourite. In-play stats were suggesting they were performing like a 1.42. First leg, 0-2 lead for Lugano. So this 2-2 is a draw. That's when you ignite. So a bit like that previous match, Salzburg and Paphos, this was deserved. They dominated the in-play stats. They were the better side. Their odds on away from home. It all clicked into gear. Now, I should have told you to top up at 2-0 because I got involved at 1-0. Should have told you to top up here. If you top up here, you reduce your averages for your exits. So you can exit even at this goal for an effective break even. So do remember that. If you still fancy the side and they've conceded yet again, top up. It could even be a fiver, £5 back of Lugano at higher odds, £5 liability lay of Runovic at shorter odds. That will ensure that if you get a quick response, as you expect, you can actually get out for a break even there. So let's look at today and some great leagues that we know all about. Las Glints started off promisingly, I think, and are odds on again today against Reed. So watch out. CSK in 1948 Sophia, don't have any strong opinion there. Cercle Brugge, bit of a mixed bag, these two, but it's a great league to trade. Danish Super League, Croatia as well with us, but just the single matches there. Dinamo Zagreb, yet again, second consecutive match at 1.2 or lower. And Viborg and Aarhus, not too enamoured with that one. Fredericia, newly relegated to the first division, could dominate, but not expected to. Vejle, newly relegated. That's one for the shortlist for sure. Over 2.5 goals expected. Wolves and Blackburn, Championship opener, newly relegated. Must start off with a win at home. Wolves, off we go. This is going to be a good gauge as to whether they're going to be dominating the Championship or not. Premier League Cup under-21s, renowned for their over 2.5 goals. And look at the amount of odds on favourites at home as well. It's a great league, the Professional Development League and the Premier League 2, it's called. Very well known for overs. You watch out the results for these two leagues at the end of today, and you'll see how many goals involvements there were. Klaksvik and Lech Poznan. I think it's a single goal lead for Lech Poznan against Klaksvik. So Klaksvik is still involved. VPS and TPS, I've done the research for members. Got an odds on home favourite. Don't forget, if you go to Soccer Stats, check the challenge table. Non-members, you can sort out the research nice and quickly that way. French League 2. Bonjour, Rodders. Watch out for newly promoted and newly relegated. I have done an app for members, but you can do quickly here. Newly promoted to French Ligue 2 and newly relegated to French League 2. This is a pattern we're going to have to follow with all new leagues. You've got to know you're newly promoted because they could be vulnerable, and your newly relegated could dominate. So Nantes, Metz, Dijon, Sochaux. Dijon, Nantes, Sochaux, and Metz. So you've already got a bias here. The newly promoted Sochaux away, Dijon at home could be vulnerable. The newly relegated from French Ligue 1, Metz, odds on away, noticeable. Nantes, just a shade of evens away. Watch out for those two. I would also pay attention to Saint-Etienne, one of those perennial sides trying to get out of this league and struggling. But they do tend to be there or thereabouts, top 3, top 4 at the end of each season. Bundesliga 2, St. Pauli, newly relegated to the Bundesliga. And at these two odds, warning you, it's a little bit too early in the season to be taking sides here. In-play stats will be vitally important. FAI Cup, any familiar names? Well, 3 out of 3 odds on favourites could get some interest from you if you fancy that. Coppa Italia, any big names out and about? Yes, we've got a through. SerieA teams in Parma, Cagliari, Fiorentina. So this is going to be fascinating. And again, we've got 4 out of 4 odds on favourites at home. So I think these teams will treat these as pre-season, not friendlies, but pre-season, get a competitive match under your belt. So I think they're going to be giving 110%, covering every blade of grass. Eredivisie, a bit too early in the season, but I've done some research for members. Similar story with the Eredivisie, where I would caution you again. We've got odds on favourite-itis at home today. It's a good sign for traders, this. Lots of odds on favourites at home, particularly if they in-play stats suggest they are going to be playing like odds on favourites at home. So that augurs well for a goals fest this evening. Heracles, newly relegated, could dominate the Eredivisie as they did the last time they were relegated, along with Pek Zwolle. Dominated the league completely from start to finish. So watch out for them today. Really favoured. NAC Breda, I think, newly relegated, are they? I have to double check that one. So watch out for Heracles in particular. Viking have been excellent this season. Even at these odds, it's warning you that Rosenborg could offer something. But Viking at similar odds and away from home took a commanding 2-goal lead against the last team they played at these kind of odds. Really strong team vying for the title. And don't forget, members, I've done full research for you so you can read at your delight. Sporting Lisbon failed to win their opener, so this is a must-win already in what is a tight title race for the top 3. So if you're up and about 8:15, Victoria Guimaras are going to give them a match. They're about the 4th or 5th best side in pork and cheese, but Sporting must win, having already dropped points in their opening match of the season. Along with Benfica, so Porto, it's advantage them winning their opener. Castellón and Sociedad B, just wait for this league to develop. The Elf and Vesteros and Superettan, I've done full research for members of FootballTradingProfits.com. You've got the statistical analysis for these 3 matches. And don't forget, non-members, soccerstats.com, challenge table, or I'll give you this new one. If you want to view the challenge table nice and quickly for today's matches, FC Stats, which has been blocked by the Thai authorities. FCStats.com will provide you with challenge tables. It'll give you a quick look of where these two are in the league, or where this lot are in the league, and how they perform against their opponents in similar positions. Swiss Cup, depends if any of the big boys are out. Well, Tuggen, the mighty Tuggen, are out. And Brule, don't know any of this lot. Galatasaray and Korum, Turkish Super League, well worth following this season. And these are going to be title contenders. Should be getting off to a commanding start. Have a great day today. There'll be an e-letter tomorrow, but it won't have any Premier League details. We might look at transfers. No members video today. It's my day off. Have a great day.